Hello guys, welcome back. So this is the last chapter of Max Lange Attack. Okay, so in this chapter we'll saw what happened if we take with the bishop into d4. So after e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, castle, knight f6, d4. So we saw what happened if we take with the knight and e takes. Okay, and this chapter we will see what happened if we take with the bishop into d4. So this is the main line. Okay, so if you are playing with a strong opponent, if you know the theory, he will play bishop into d4. Okay, but don't worry, you don't have any problem on this line because we have a very good lines here also. At least he will get a equality if we know everything. Yeah, we will win, we will get a very good initiative. Okay, because it's not easy to play this position also, because if you take bishop into d4, then what can you do? You will just take knight into d4. Okay, and now again he have to be take with the knight into d4, because again he can't take with the e pawn, because whenever if he take the if he take with the e pawn, then you have always be option to play here e5. So again you are attacking the knight. Okay, and now knight have to be moved, because he can't take here knight into e5, because if you take knight e5, just play rook e1 and you are attacking the knight. Okay, and if you just played by d6 defending the knight, just f4 and you will win the knight here, right? So knight takes e5 is not the case. Okay, what else he can play? So let's see what happened if he just played knight to e4. If he played knight e4, it's not a big problem. You will just play queen g4 attacking the knight, and also g7. Again you are just winning here. Okay, because if you played d5, just take the g7. Or now rook is hanging. If you played rook to f8, then play bishop a6, again threatening to the rook. Okay, or if you just played here queen e7, just take the d5. Again now knight is hanging, d5 is hanging, and it's completely winning here, right? So it's not a problem. So he can't play knight e4 in this position. Okay, what else he can play? If you just go knight g8, it's not a good for him, because his all pieces is going back. If you just go knight g8, just play queen h5, attacking the waiting threat here. Okay, or if you played queen e7 by defending here, just play bishop g5, attacking the queen again. Or if you played queen f8 in this position, just go knight d2. Okay, yeah, by the way, one more thing, after queen h5, if you played g6, is also not the good choice here, because if you played g6, then you just played here a very important move, queen to f3, again just attack this guy. Okay, or if you take here, again you will just play this move, rook e1, and attacking this guy. Okay, so this is the problem, because now this guy is hanging and he can't take queen and everything, and now f7 is also a problem for him. So he have to be very careful in this position. He will not lose here immediately. Okay, so this is not the problem for us. Okay, so what else he can do in this position? Okay, suppose after this he will play knight g8, and after this queen e7, bishop g5, queen f8, knight d2, and just do the normal development. And you can see, look at his pieces, how they are working, right? And he will definitely will not play knight g8, because if you go knight g8, so it's very passive, right? So you know how can you play against this. I want to show you some couple of moves. Suppose if we just go knight g7 developing the pieces, then just play rook e1, rook d1, knight e4 is coming, and he can't play like d6, and see the pieces. It's a very big problem for him. Okay, so definitely we'll just sum up here line. So that means he can't take with the pawn. So if you want to the continue, he have to be take with the knight into d4. Okay, and now you can see in this position, if we are pawn down, okay, and we can't get the e5, because that knight which we are want. Okay, and his knight is also very strong on d4, and we are pawn down, right? But for compensation, guys, we have a bishop pair, a very important advantage in this position. But the main idea is of giving this one more idea. We will play here in this position bishop to g5, simply pinning the guy. Okay, and I want to show you some couple of lines which you will enjoy this. Okay, most probably in this position your opponent will play h6. Okay, suppose if you played h6, then what you have to do to play, just play bishop to h4. Okay, and now if your opponent played g5, so this is a very big blunder, and now it's white completely winning, and you have a very fantastic move in this position. You just play here a very fantastic move, f4, sacrificing your bishop. Because now what happens, suppose if you just simply take here, if you just take g into h4, if you take your bishop, then what can you do? You will just play e5. Now you can see, just take the e5, f6 knight is hanging, d4 guy is also hanging, and you will win back your piece. Okay, so it's not a big problem for us. If you just go knight g8, just if you want, you can take first f7, then take d4. Maybe you can just take f7, or if you move this king somewhere, just take the d4, and you have again completely winning. Okay, So definitely he will not take with the bishop now. Or what happen if he just take in this position a into f4? Suppose now you thought, okay, why not, I will just take this. But if you take that, then d4 knight is hanging, you will win the knight. Okay, or if you take the bishop, just take rook into f4, and now f6 knight will be fall, and you are winning. Okay, simply in this position. So that means he can't take the bishop and he can't take with the pawn now. But you are also worried about what happened if we just take g into f4. Okay, but if we take g into f4, and again you have a very fantastic move in this position, you will just play here rook into f4, sacrificing your rook again. Because what happened if we take now rook, then just take queen d4, and again you will be win the f6, and buy one get one free, because after winning the f6 you also winning the rook here, and after f6 queen don't have a square. It's very important, right? And again you just completely winning here. Okay, and you just crushed him here. Okay, so that means ki h6 g5 looks very naturally, but it will be not work. But just remember this line f4, and you will just completely crush him. Okay, so it's not a problem for us. So after bishop g5, h6 will be played. Most probably your opponent will do in this position d6. Okay, so if we played d6, before I'm going to d6, I want to tell you what happened if we just did a castle. But castle is a very bad move in this position, because if we just did a castle, then the main idea is over that bishop g5, we will also play f4 by creating more pressure on f6, and our rook is already getting a work from home, right? He get the job here, right? After taking this, the rook is also pressuring the f6 knight, and the king will be a very big problem, because I will show you some sample line. Suppose if we just continue like a d6, because he can't take here. If you take the d4 is hanging, so definitely will play d6. Then you will play knight to c3. The idea is that I will play knight d5, putting more pressure on your d5 knight. So definitely will play c6. If you play c6, what can you do? Just play rook f2. Very important. What you are trying to do, you just creating more pressure on f6. So if you just played bishop e6, then what can you do? Just take here first. Okay, if you take, then what can you do? He will just take, because if you take bishop into c4, then just take queen into d4, and f6 is hanging, c4 is hanging. This is the problem, so you can't take this. Okay, or if you just take e into d4, then just go bishop d3, and now queen d2 and rook f1 will become, and putting more pressure on f6. If you just played h6 here, then just take the f6. If you take here, just go queen h5 and taking the f6. Or if you just play this, then just play rook f1 and creating a more pressure, and definitely you will win this position, right? Because you can see the king of position and rook is coming, and you have a very good advantage in this position, and you can't defend by the way f6 pawn. Okay, so that was, guys, it's not a good case for him, because you see if he did a castle, so that was it, guys. So he can't do the castle, because if he did a castle, so you can see it's like a not good for him, because he will be at trouble. Because if you just go castle f4 and you creating a more pressure and additional pressure on him, right? So castle is not the good move in this position. So main idea is that after bishop g5 we will play always be a f4 break. This is the main break in this position. Okay, so after this castle is not work, so maybe your opponent will play here a move d6. If we play d6, so what can we do? We will definitely will play f4. This is our typical break in this position. So now what is the idea? Again, he can't take, because d4 is hanging, and we are putting more pressure here on f6, because we have to be give a job for our rook, right? So he's getting a work from home. So what happened after this, he will just continue like couple of moves. He will play bishop e6 maybe. Okay, trying to exchange the pieces. If we played bishop e6, then what can you do? Just play knight to a3, protecting your bishop. Okay, or if you just played queen e7, so what can you do? His idea that he want to just do the castle, and knight a3 is also a main idea. If you take here, then you have always remember this plan. Just go knight c4, knight e3, knight f5, knight d5. Now you also look, my knight is already a bad piece, because you can see he is on e3, is not working good. But definitely will be join the party by going to c4, e3, f5, d5. Or you have one more plan. You just also play c3, c2, knight e3, knight d5. This plan you have to be just remember. Okay, so suppose if we just go queen e7, then we will take the e into d5. If we take, now is the idea that we want to play queen c5 and creating some discover attack, right? But what can we do? We'll just take first f6. If we take g into, and now play c3, attacking the knight first. Okay, because if we just go here, like if we just played bishop into c4 and take, and now he have to be go knight to e6. Okay, if we just go knight e6, just play b4, guarding to c5 square, because I don't want to be allow him to go this, or if we just go knight f4 in this position, creating a more pressure on you, just play king 2 here, h8. And now your idea is to g3 and kicking the knight. Okay, so it's not a big case, or one big problem here, he can't do the castle. Okay, and after that just play g3, and just you can also go queen f3, you will win your f6 pawn back, and you have one more plan, just go knight e3, knight d5, knight f5. This is a very simple plan you can do in this position. Okay, so that means key after e into d4, he can't, bishop f6, c3, can't take c4. If you played knight c6 back, then what can you do? Because it's, now idea is that you want to take a c4 and also play queen c5. But we will not worry here. We will play simple move, queen f3. Now you think, what? I can just simply take and play queen c5, right? But now the move is here, we can just play knight to e3, because queen is f3, also not just putting a more pressure here, we also trying to play knight to e3, or accelerating our development by going to d5. Okay, or if we just do the castle, just go king h1, just one go side step and just play knight d5, and you will winning the f6 pawn. Or if you just go like knight to e7, defending to d5 and f5, then what can you do? Just simple, you can just play in this position, rook to d1, protecting your knight and also giving extra protection to your e4 pawn. Okay, and now I am threatening to take f6, I will win the pawn. Okay, or if you played like rook g8, and now you will just take the f6, because now e3 knight is protected, and now f7 is a problem, and you can see f7 is a problem, e7 is a problem, this is the problem, right? Or once you also play knight d5 and knight f5, exchanging, you can also your knight here also, right, by playing knight f5. So this is not the problem here. Okay, and what else he can do here? After this, I can see ki bishop f6 and e into d5, queen c5. So we saw what happened ki if we just go bishop e6 in this position. Okay, so after d6, maybe he will not play this move, he will play in this position bishop g4. This is also a main line here. Bishop g4 will be happen many times with you. If your opponent played bishop g4, then what can you do? Just remember here, you have to be take first f6, and now this is the forced line which you have to be just remember, and you have to be remember this line, right? Because he have a only move in this position, he have to be take, because he can't take the f6, because if you take the f6, or you will just win the bishop here. So he have to be forced to take here in this position, bishop into d1, and now you can also take the queen. And now it's very important what he will play, because bishop into d8, or suppose if you just played bishop into c2 instead of rook d8, so what go also like this move, bishop to h4, and again you are just piece up in this position, right? Okay, after take, if he don't take with the bishop, or maybe he will take with the knight into c2. If you take knight into c2, then what can you do? You just take here a bishop, or if you take the rook, then just save your bishop to simply h4. Okay, or maybe you can also take here bishop into c7. This is also a possible move, because now if you played rook c8, so you have a very good move in this position, you can just play bishop to b5 check. Okay, and now you save the all pieces here, right? Because if you just go king e7, you can also take the d6, and you have again winning position, because the knight will be not running here, and you already you have a two pieces for rook, right? And you also losing the this one, and you have a complete winning position here after that. Okay, so knight c2, and this move will not work here, so forced he have to be take rook into d8. Once he takes the rook d8, and now and only now you have to just remember one very important move here, you have to be play here in this position c3. Okay, will not giving him the pawn, so just remember this move c3. Once you played c3, because if you take directly rook takes d1, he will take c into knight into c2, and he will win the rook. So he have some compensation, but we don't want to give up him a pawn. So what we will do in this position, we will, if we after take this, we will play c3, attacking the knight and also the bishop. So he have to be forced to go knight to c2, because if he just played bishop e2, now you also thinking why not bishop e2, attacking the bishop and also attacking the rook, and if you take, then I can just take here. But anyway, we'll just take the d4. Okay, so we will take the d4. If we take the f1, then you just take king into f1, no worry. Okay, but now maybe you are thinking here, why not just take the c4? If you take the c4, just play rook c1, and now you will win the c7 pawn simply here. Okay, because if we just like go bishop e6 or somewhere, and you just play d5, if you just go bishop there, just take the c7, and your piece is so active in this position, right? So definitely you will win couple of more pawns, and your rook is so active on c7, right? So you have a very good activity in this position. Okay, so bishop e2 will not work here. So after taking, or if we take like f1, then what can you do? Just king into f1. Or if we take d4, just go knight d2 and just do the normal development. Just go king e2, king d3, rook f1, and you have a two pieces for the rook. And rook is always be good in endgame if you have a minor pieces, but it's very important he needs some open file, then it will be a good for him. Okay, so it's not the case here. So just you have to remember one very important line after this key, we have to play c3. So bishop e2 is not a problem. So definitely your opponent will play knight to c2. If you play knight c2, then what can you do? You just take the here d1, and if you take a1 now, just play knight a3. So you will not allow him to come back to c2, and now you are also threatening to take here his rook, okay, or take his knight. So he will take f4, then what can you do? Just take here. Or if you just go castle, just go king f3, king f2, king f3, just protecting here, and just put your king here. Or if you play g5 to defending the f4 pawn, just play h4. Okay, we want to win the pawn. Or if you play h6, then what can you do? Just go knight b5, attacking to c7 and also this c6 pawn. If you played c6, just come here knight d4 and just go knight to d4. Okay, and don't take this pawn, because if you take this pawn, here knight will be trapped. So be careful here. So if you played c6, just go knight d4, and now knight f5 is coming. Okay, so definitely you have a very good advantage in this position. Okay, so I hope guys we cover all the lines of here after e4 e5 move, so you know how can you play against the e5 move. Okay, so we have a one more video, conclusion video, so I will tell you all the details also there about the course. Okay, so for that, okay guys, I will meet you in conclusion video. Don't be miss that. You please watch that video. Okay, for see you that. Bye bye guys.